Welcome to the Pie Guy Podcast with your host, Matt Walker.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Pie Guy Podcast. I am your host, Matt Walker. I have today Michelle Francoeur, who is a certified personal trainer and a nutrition specialist. Yes, and someone I've known a number of years, and I have always had good conversations with her about nutrition and training and things like that. And we had a great podcast last week where we had the head of conditioning and training for Major League Baseball and for the U.S. Army. But I thought there was a nutrition component of that would go really well here. Plus, also, I would love to get your kind of point of view on some of the training stuff and some of the things you've learned, because I think it's a completely different, probably more, it probably makes more sense to the average listener as far as everyday nutrition and things like that they can relate to. And I thought that would be a great sort of bookend to the conversation last week, which I thought went really well. So welcome, Michelle. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me. Very excited.
Oh, good. So if you could just kind of introduce yourself and sort of your background a little bit, and we can get started from there.
Yeah, so I started just like an everyday person. It started basically 5 years ago, COVID. I was not feeling so well about myself, as we all did. And I think a lot of us decided that that's where we all needed to change. I basically became a plant-based person and started working out at home. And then from there, I got myself a job with Planet Fitness and excelled from there. So after working with Planet Fitness, I decided to become a personal trainer because I fell in love with the idea of helping people and just the joy I got out of working out that I never had before. And knowing that I can help people and show them the way of just enjoying working out and what it does for you just physically, mentally. I needed to bring that to people. So I became a personal trainer, and then teaching people how to eat, teaching people good food, teaching people that there are better options out there than what the on-demand food system has for you. So this has kind of just been 5+ years of my experience, just bringing it to people.
And you did when I first met you, you were almost training, not, I don't want to say bodybuilder, but you were in really good shape, competitively good shape, right? And that
I was trying.
A long journey, right? No, you were. I mean,
I was trying, yeah. And I had a couple of guys behind me that were in really, really good shape. And yeah, that was the way of training. That was the way that we were training. We were training bodybuilder style. That was the basic form of how it was. And some of us did want to compete eventually. None of us actually did. None of us actually went that far. It's grueling. That's grueling. It does take a lot on your body. But our mentality at that time was to get there. And that's a little different than where I am now, and how I train now. But that's where we were.
And I think that's interesting too, because to me, it shows the spectrum of knowledge and what you have, because it feels like while you were doing that, you were talking to me about, healthy eating habits and things like that. So it's kind of interesting to me that you deal with nutrition on an everyday point of view, but then you also did it on sort of that extreme driven point of view. So to me, I think there's an interesting amount of experience in that you can talk to it from all different angles, really. And then you were talking about another part of your journey now, which is you're saying you're becoming certified in menopause and perimenopause. I'm not sure
Yep.
you're saying that as well. So your health experience is getting pretty vast at this point, I would say. Where do you think that the average person needs to look, especially coming out of COVID, like you said, where everyone kind of started looking at where they are? Where do you think the biggest missteps are for the average person, or just in our daily consumption of food and nutrition and things like that?
I think people just need to learn to cook for themselves. I think a lot of people are just lacking in that, the education of cooking a good meal and what is behind that. There's such a need or such a want for things to be ready and done in front of them, and they don't have the education of how to actually make a real meal for themselves. And that goes right down to kids having like the experience of sitting down and actually having a homemade meal. You know, everything is DoorDashed, everything's Uber Eats, everything is, you know, I can click an app on my phone and have things ready for me. And it's pretty sad, you know, that nobody knows how to do these things anymore, and it's lost. Um, you know, a lot of my clients, I'm trying to teach them, and even the young ones, um, what you're putting in is fueling your body for the exercise that you're doing, and not just for what you're doing right now. It is fueling it for tomorrow. It is going to fuel it for the next month. So every single thing that goes in is fuel. It is energy. It is even the air that you're breathing. That is everything that is going in is forming the muscles. It's everything. So to get everybody off that phone and off those apps would be amazing, and teach them how to actually cook a meal. That would be wonderful.
Well, you say cook a meal, and it's one of those things like I can cook, and there's a lot of things I can cook, but I struggle is what should I eat? Like, because, the simple answer is, I eat protein and salad, but then after a while, is that enough? Or, and then you stay away from carbs, but then sometimes I've seen where, some rice is good, or that, like, what is a good diet for an average family? Like, because cooking is one thing, but cooking good things is another too, right? I mean, there's all those pre-made things or rice-a-ronis or things like that. What would be like a standard good week of eating if you were living at home and you were cooking either for yourself or for your family? Like, do you have any tips on like where you should be headed or what you should be thinking or how to put together some sort of a meal plan for that week?
So meal plans can be very specific towards a person or a family per
Yeah.
se. But I will tell you, stay away from the middle of the grocery store.
Yeah.
Stay out of that middle. That is where everything that is processed, ultra processed is going to be. That is where all the chemicals in your foods are going to be. Stay to the outside. That is where all your fruits, your veggies, all natural things that you need. Meal prep is huge. Like you said, if you have a very busy week, there is nothing wrong with having an air fryer, a crock pot readily available to you to make vast, amounts of food. You know, baking off some chicken for the week and portioning it out, and then having your rice, having your veggies, having everything ready to go so that your meals are ready to just pop in the oven. You mentioned the rice thing. We have talked about rice before, and I have said that jasmine rice over brown rice. Jasmine rice for a bodybuilder, yes, lower in calories, perfect. Higher glycemic index, keeps us going longer. Brown rice, I wouldn't eat it if I was working out heavily, doing that. But someone who's a diabetic, someone who needs to lose weight, they want to go brown rice. So you really have to be specific to what your family type is, what kind of exercise you're doing, what your daily routine is. You really have to like figure those things out. What's best for your family? What's best for you? But definitely go ahead and do it.
So when you eat, let's just say, well, you said before something plant-based. Are you all plant-based still?
No, I'm not.
Okay. I thought I saw you eating like a,
Yeah, no, I'm not. I stopped. I got really sick. I went plant-based. Ended up being extremely sick. Even though I was taking the supplements and doing all that, still wasn't enough. I still wasn't getting enough nutrients. I still wasn't getting, my protein levels were super low. I still was not getting everything that I needed. So I went flexitarian. Again, what's flexitarian? People are wonder what that is. I eat chicken, fish, eggs. Now, back to meat. I am still red meat a couple of times a week. You know, if your body fluctuates, your body will tell you what you need.
yeah.
Your body, like you can try all these extreme diets and everything, but if your body is lacking something, it's gonna say, hey, listen,
Yeah.
I need that, you know?
But
It's
well, that's a funny thing because, I've seen some people like, oh no, the carnivore diet and you lose all this weight.
yeah,
It's good for you. But then, but it's funny because you hear feedback, like my kids give me feedback that they hear in the school, but that sounds different than what I see on social media from people who I respect. And like, they're still, which I think is a little crazy, is like red meat's completely awful. And that seems a little extreme too, isn't that? Or like it seems like even if you just have a certain amount or you don't overdo it, like what's your thought on red meat in general? Because again, every time you turn on social media, there's something telling you that everything you're eating is bad.
yeah, of course. There's gonna be, red meat's bad. Eggs are bad for you. I mean, they'll go into vegans bad. This is
Yeah.
bad. That's bad. Um, it's not. It's not all bad. As long as you stick to grass-fed beef, organic grass-fed,
Oh, really?
your chances are you're going to be okay as long as it's labeled organic grass-fed beef. Free-range chickens. Be sure that you're packaged free-range chickens. A lot of times these places will, and it'll say right on there that how it's packaged. With chicken, it can be packaged in water. So it kind of like soaks up the water, the chicken, so that way it just, as long as you're free range chicken, you're good. Um, and then, salmon. I only eat wild caught salmon, so I don't buy my salmon from a grocery store. I actually stopped buying it because I saw one of the stores was saying it was wild caught, but it was wild caught something. I can't remember how I'm going to be specific about it, but so I only get it from my local like
Fish place.
fish place. Yeah, my local fish guy. Because I'm drawing a blank on what it said, and I was like, this is not right. This
Yeah.
is not right what it said, and I was like, nope, not having it no more. So wild caught fish, so go to your local fish guy, get your local fish if you have it. So as long as you're staying to, organic stuff, you're okay. You're gonna be fine. Fruits and veggies, I always you're looking at higher prices on these things, and a lot of families can't afford.
Yeah.
Do your best to get your fruits and veggies in. That's what I say. Like I have a lot of clients who just they're like, there's like so expensive. Like how can I do this? I'm like, just buy the fruits and veggies.
Yeah.
If you can't do organic, just do the fruits and the vegetables. I know it's a thing and it's hard, but go to your local's farmers market. they have tons of it. They want to get rid of it, you know. Go there in the summertime, in the spring, in the summer. They have an abundance they want to get rid of. Do that. Local bakeries, they have their breads and things. This is all good stuff for you.
Yeah.
This is all, think back of what your grandparents ate. These are the things that you want to put in your body, you know?
So that, like, one of my things in the last few years, and I try not to get political on this thing, but it does feel like we're being poisoned. I mean, like at some level, like we could dance around it and we could talk about, staying out of the middle and all that. But the reason we have to do that, like we went to my son, we were up at La Crosse and we got there was it was pretty good. It was a nice roadside taco truck kind of, all the Mexican kind of foods, which were good, but they have this soda there, Jacinta or whatever, and he got one. And I was just curious, and I looked at the back of the label, and there was like 4 things in there.
Yep.
And I was like, here's Mexico, which, by
Yep.
all accounts, we should be in a much better health place than them. And they have 4 things in there. And I always assumed that was the lowest quality beverage because growing up as a kid, because this is another conversation I've had with my kids, is like, when we talked about junk food, now I'm at a point where I'm like, junk food before was like sugar and that stuff. Now junk food is like chemicals that could give you cancer and kill you. Like here's this soda, which I thought was whatever. And I'm like, they're eating more health conscious in Mexico than here. Isn't that crazy to think that we are one of the most developed nations in the world and we can't just eat and drink the products that are in the store? Isn't that like, that's really what a lot of this comes down to at this point, right?
Yep. So a lot of people are, I have one client who is celiac and she has severe food allergies, and more people are, becoming diagnosed
Yeah.
with food allergies and food sensitivities, especially to gluten. Gluten's a protein that's in whey, barley, and rye. And it's absolutely disgusting how many people are sensitive to it. And, COVID, whether you had it or not, and some people will say that they didn't have it, and they might have had it, they just didn't have the symptoms of having it. But they may have gotten the vaccine. But it has been known to, it's a gut destroying virus.
Yeah.
So it actually, anybody who had it has gastro issues.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
So, to say that there's been an increase over the last 5 years of people with sensitivities to gluten, sensitivities to all these things, interesting.
really? So when you say gut problems, like what exactly does that mean? Just like
So IBS,
okay.
irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's is on the uprise, things like that. So, or just a variety of gut issues.
Yeah.
So, and, sensitivity to gluten. And I'm finding even older people who had never had a problem, are now having a problem. So whether is it our food is just worse, for lack of a better word, just become awful, or is it because of that?
Yeah.
And each year they're getting their boosters, older people, they're getting the booster. So their stomachs are getting worse.
Yeah.
And so now they're more sensitive to gluten.
Interesting.
And as you know, I work during the day at a gluten-free bakery. So I just see more and more and more each week people coming in that have never been there before that are like, oh, I just got diagnosed.
Wow.
And it's incredible to me that it's like, you know, it is a process to get diagnosed. First of all, it's varies of tests that you have to go through, but you know, it can go, you have skin issues, you know, issues. Some people can get anaphylaxis. It's incredible. It's incredible that our food that we're supposed to safely ingest, that's, you know, the FDA approves for
Yeah.
you to eat, is literally killing us.
Well, that's what's amazing too, is like, you know, when you look online and you kind of pay attention to all of the different things, like you said, you want to be healthy and you want to pay attention to what's killing us, but then all of a sudden it's never been harder in my life to try to get information, right? Because now all
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden you're like listening to you about the gluten stuff, but then you find someone else that goes the other way. And it says, oh, well, it's because you're not eating this and you're not eating that. And then you're like, are those the people that gave us this
Right, right,
to
exactly.
begin with? Yeah, it's so hard. Like, I don't think there's ever been a time, at least not in modern history, where you could actually put tons of time in to find information and it's still almost impossible. I feel like maybe even 10 years ago, you could just pretty much pay a decent amount of attention and have a general idea of good and bad. Now it just seems like I see some guy that he was talking about like things I always heard good, like oat and all this stuff. And then now oh, oats are bad for you and this is bad for you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like how do you you know, and then then how do you know if you have a gluten allergy? How do you know if it's so weird because it's like getting older, everything hurts or
Yeah.
so you're like,
It's
is that food
true.
or yeah, you wake up and you're like, is it the food or is it just I'm 50 and I'm old or like how do you know this? Is it just one of those things where you just got to keep monitoring it? Or like you said, I guess you could go on a good diet and maybe cancel out, you know, some of the things you're doing. Would
Yeah,
that be
there's such a
right?
thing called the FODMAP. Um, and it's an elimination diet. And uh that's actually pretty good. And most doctors will have you go on that. Most GI doctors will have you try it, and you can eliminate all the things. You can actually Google it, and it'll give you the there's a high and the low.
Yeah,
And you can actually do it yourself, and it works pretty well.
yeah,
And you just eliminate all the foods that are on it, and kind of gives you an idea of uh what your intolerances are.
yeah.
So I've had people, you know, oh, my doctor gave me the list. Here's what I can't have. Oh, and I look and I go, okay, you know, you could have done this yourself, you know, so easy, you know. And I've actually done it myself once, and it worked. It worked for me, you know. I was like, okay, you know, I know what I can't have. I do have a lot of allergies myself. I know what I can't have. Um, and my allergies have gotten worse over the years. I don't know if it's because, you know, after COVID, you know, if they've gotten worse or whatever. Um, but there is that you can try, just to see if it is age or, you know, whatever. Um, but just, I say, eat clean. And but what I mean clean is no seed oils, stick to avocado oil, anything that has avocado oil in it, or olive oil.
I would say olive's good, right?
Yeah, olive oil is
Yeah.
great,
'Cause I
and
use
avocado.
that. I had some heart issues a few years ago, and that actually.
Yep.
Sorry, I interrupted you, by the way.
Nope.
I had heart issues a couple of years ago, and I sat with a nutritionist, and I was just really surprised at the information that the nutritionist gave me that was kind of against maybe what your common thought would be about food. And the olive oil thing was amazing to me because you're
Yep.
always brought up to think, oh, oil's bad, oil's bad, oil's bad. Um, and the Mediterranean diet, the
Yep.
basis of it's oil, which by the way is delicious. Like
Yep.
olive oil tastes good on everything. Like anything you could put in a pan, you put olive oil on it, immediately tastes better. Extra virgin olive oil, anyway. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that non-virgin oil's been doing because no one seems to be that excited about it.
No, the Mediterranean diet, out of all like the diets, I think that one's probably the best.
Yeah,
Like they have all these funky little diets, and I think that one's the best because it's strictly what the Mediterraneans eat.
yeah,
And if you look, getting on to a whole nother thing, which is the blue zones, and those are the zones in I don't know if you're familiar with that.
no,
These are the zones all around the world um, that people live to 100 and up.
wow,
And one of them, they live basically, it's the Mediterranean diet. It's all, you know,
yeah,
olive oils, the olive, like literally, that's how they live on that diet. And they're living to 100 plus.
yeah,
So there's got to be something to
yeah,
say for that. Um, But again, then you're looking at the Atkins diet. Nobody's living to 100 on the Atkins diet.
no,
Nobody's living, on the Jenny Craig to 100. Nobody's living on Weight Watchers to 100. So
Well, the Mediterranean diet's funny because I don't consider it a diet. Like
no,
I my whole
nope.
life did an Atkins diet, but the Mediterranean diet is pretty much what you said.
Food.
It's
It's
sticking
real
to
food.
the outside of the
Yeah.
market. Yeah, which is, don't eat anything that, can't expire,
Yep.
in a few, which there's two parts of that. One, having, four kids, that's hard because, you buy this stuff and if it goes bad quickly, and for me being divorced and the kids are only here half the week, it's like that makes it even harder because you're buying for a lot of people on that one day and then
You
they're,
have to cook, Matt. You have to
oh
cook.
no, I cook fine. No, but the vegetables I'm talking about is like you
Yeah.
buy them and then you think, oh, we're going to eat this and you don't get to it. And then now it's like you're not going to have it by the next week. And then you're like, oh,
Right.
man. But then there was something that happened. Oh my God, it still throws me off to this day. Is like we did tacos, so I bought sour cream, right? Fine, whatever. Hood sour cream, nice New England dairy company. So I have it on the table. It's like a squeezy bottle, and my son left it out for 2 days.
Oh,
And I went, oh shoot. And I picked it up and I smelled it. Didn't go bad. Doesn't go bad ever. You could leave it out for like a week. It's not sour cream like at all. Like, isn't that scary? Imagine what that does to your insides. If this food, which is supposedly dairy, and it doesn't go bad. Like,
what's the process?
yeah.
Yeah.
And, we talk about the glutens and, any of the peanut allergies and all these things. And it's like, again, I'm not an expert, but it has to be coming from this.
What's the process? I always say, what's the process?
Yeah, because it's inhuman. It's like it's weird. It's like I know that sounds dumb because it's not a human thing, but like it's like magic that you have this stuff that stays out. Of course, there's going to be detrimental effects because it's not natural and
Right.
unnatural, I guess is the word. Um, and who needs sour cream that doesn't go bad sitting out for 2 days? Like,
Yeah. When I tell people when they are going to the store, look for things that say natural. Don't buy like things that say sugar free or zero sugar because you're things, you're looking at it and what are they replacing the sugar with?
yeah,
Something that's not,
yeah,
natural. You got to replace it. If it's not natural and they're always they're always looking to replace something with something,
yeah,
and it's got to stay on that shelf longer,
yeah,
and that date's gonna, that's gonna stay longer on the shelf. um it's it's just crazy what they're trying to do. And then another thing, like I have a lot of people with dairy allergies, so here we go with the almond milks, the oat milks,
Yeah.
the coconut milks. And so here I was when I was plant-based, and I want to think back to all that wonderful time. And how do we keep all these things on the shelf? These aren't really even like, how do you milk an almond? Like, you
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can actually make these things at home.
Yeah.
There, you can actually make almond milk from almonds, and you can make, you can make these things at home. There's things on Amazon you can buy, and you can make these things at home, and it's actually really, really good for you if you do it at home. But you are putting these things on the shelf, and these expiration dates on these milks are way out. They are way out there. But if you ever turn them around and you start looking at the ingredients for these things to stay on the shelf, what are they? What are you actually putting in your body for you to have your coffee or for you to eat your cereal?
Yeah.
Like, I understand there are a lot of people with dairy allergies that they cannot have it, but there is actually a ingredient that is a derivative of seaweed in these milks that destroy your gut again. They are literally going into your microbiome and eating it.
Oh, wow.
So why would you want to do that by drinking your coconut milk that's tasting a little more creamier in your coffee? It's
Yeah.
these are things that I say, think about that for a minute. Just drink it black. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
you have to have your coffee, and you can't have it, just drink it black or find some other way.
Yeah.
And then it's just, I I get upset a little bit, and I try and, coach these kids, especially some of the kids. The kids actually, you know what? It's funny because the kids that I train actually listen to me better than some of the adults.
Well, I think
And
it's harder. I think it's harder if you're an adult because you look at that, what is it, the food pyramid and all that. Like,
which has changed
yeah,
again,
I think
it's changed so many times.
I mean, what was hammered in our head for years, a lot of that was bullshit. And I
Hmm.
think for the kids, I don't think, I think they're so used to things changing left and right. They don't have that dogma, which has goods and bads, but they don't have that dogma about things. They're more willing to change it because they didn't grow up like when we were kids. Oh, you have to eat your breakfast and you have to eat all this sugar and you have to eat, and even you see like cereal where everyone's like, no, cereal's bad. The people that told you to eat cereal
Awful.
were the cereal people.
Cereal is awful.
Yeah. And just in general, all of the breads and things like that were just hammered into us, but then a lot of that stuff is just bad for you, and you shouldn't be eating so many carbs, or you should, the carbs were the basis of life, but at the same time, it like too much is too good.
I mean, carbs are good. Carbs are energy. We need
Yeah,
carbs to go out throughout the day. But the problem is we eat the wrong carbs,
yeah,
and we get addicted to all the sugary carbs.
yeah,
And a lot of us overload
yeah.
on the carbs and the wrong things. And we have this idea, but then again, everybody's, we're all doing the wrong things. I'm not going to say I don't love ice cream, because I do love my ice cream, but that's the wrong carb to be loving.
But that's a question I have. So you see, like there's some farms or homemade ice cream places. That ice cream isn't bad, right? Because it doesn't have all the preservatives in it. Is that
Correct.
so? Like again, it's that idea of like if it's made in front of you, it's fine, right? Because one
Right.
of the things when I first said the health thing, I had pizza quite a bit, and I didn't gain any weight, and a lot of it I think was because of the idea that there was a great pizza place, but it was like fresh ingredients and it was good pizza. And I never felt crappy after eating it. And I started to think like a lot of the things that make you feel like shit are the preservatives and all the
Yep.
nonsense. And even just eating like a local place that made a pizza, it literally is just dough and cheese and sauce. Like that's so much better than some of the things you probably think are good for you that are filled with preservatives and shit like that. I don't think people understand what that does to our bodies, right?
Hmm.
Putting on weight or your health or your allergies or anything like that. That's fair to say, right?
Absolutely. And I think that's why a lot of these chain restaurants are dying off, I don't know if I don't know how many you have out where you are, but we had a lot of chain restaurants that are just kind of completely diminishing out this way. And
Uh, Give me an example of the ones you're talking about that are dying.
like TGI Fridays, we had a bunch out here. Those are gone, completely gone. Um,
Yeah.
and like
I
those
just
big
assumed it
chain
was that.
restaurants.
Oh, I thought that was more just because they had outlived their usefulness. You think it's because of that? Because it's
But I think like a lot of them around here, like a lot of there's, I mean, I'm sure they all have their like financial issues, especially after COVID, but we're seeing a lot less of those and more a lot of mom and pop restaurants
yeah,
opening up. And I love that. I love that you have smaller, mom and pop places, especially where I'm at. And that means they have better ingredients.
yeah,
They're using fresher things. And you
right.
have, places, distributing places like Cisco's and Chef's Warehouse and stuff like that, distributing things. That also gives like where I'm at, I can actually go look at the ingredients. I
Yeah,
mean, we are very careful with what we pick because the entire place is gluten free.
yeah,
And we are very allergen aware because I have people who have anaphylaxis dairy. Like, I mean, I have a young boy who literally will go into anaphylactic shock if he has any dairy in his system.
wow,
So I know, and his parents know, that he can come in there and he can safely sit down and have a full meal
yeah,
at that restaurant. I take pride in that. We all take pride in that, and his family is safe with that. So, like, I love that this is something that we can do, and there's a place for that. And so I like the fact that there are restaurants that actually are taking pride in having, fresh ingredients in their places. I where I'm at, there's another place. I see the seafood truck come to the place delivering the food. I'm going to go to that place. I am going to eat there because I know that that fish was literally delivered that day for what they do. There's this another place that makes fresh sushi. I've seen the truck go there. I'm going to go and I'm going to have sushi at that place because I know that the guy just got you know, the fresh fish from that truck. So that needs to be done more with places,
yeah,
and people need to be happy about eating out in places like that,
yeah.
that there are fresh ingredients in those places, and not go to Chili's or not saying there's anything bad with
Yeah,
Chili's
yeah.
or
I will
going
say
out
we
to
do
even
we did.
Buster's or
Yeah,
something like that. Go, but
yeah,
do that like once in a while.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Celebrate, go, have your celebration once in a while. Don't make that an all the time thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't go out and you can't enjoy yourself and go do things. That's you have to live a life. You have to, but you have to also be mindful of what you are putting in every single day. And if you do go out to eat, be mindful where you go, that your ingredients, that the food where you're going is going to be fresh and it's going to be good food that's being prepared. So just, I see so many people that take care of their appearance, and the clothes that they buy, and they're so worried about what this looks like on the outside, and they will literally go spend $8 on a coffee from Starbucks, and it is nothing but junk that they are, you know. I was one of them. I loved my Starbucks. Don't get me wrong. And then I started looking into what was in that drink, and I was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe I just drank that. It was
That's funny too. Like I don't drink coffee, but to your point, if you're spending that much, it seems like there's enough coffee places. Like my little town is like two really renowned coffee places. Those are probably really good, right? If it's just a local,
absolutely,
like mom and pop
absolutely,
kind of place.
yeah,
Because you
and
see
better.
pressing, I was just somewhere the other day and the woman was pressing the beans and the what, like that's as
Yeah,
good as you're gonna get, right?
that's better.
Yeah,
That's better for you because that's fresh ground coffee that she
yeah,
just ground that for you. She's pressing it for
yeah,
you. That is all better coffee just being done for you right there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she's not using, you know, crappy milk either. And, you know, she's using real stuff. And, you know, just watch out for if you're getting it sweetened, sometimes those sugar syrups, again, chemicals in the syrup,
Yeah.
you know,
Sense.
you know, and then sweeteners, you know, if you're going to do sugar, do sugar.
Yeah.
Just do plain white sugar. Don't even do sugar in the raw. Your body can't even digest that properly.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't like to the sugar in the raw, the crystals, it doesn't like to break it down. So just do plain white sugar.
It's
And
funny you say that. I've always thought like by buying that, the first time I saw that we were on our honeymoon in Hawaii, and like when you're in Hawaii, everything's fresh and delicious. And I thought, I'm gonna bring part of Hawaii back with me. And I took the sugar and the raw back with me. And I was like, I always thought I was doing better because it wasn't overly white and bleached and
yeah, your
but
body has a hard time trying to digest the crystals there. So just plain white table sugar is
they're so
the best.
so crunchy though and delicious.
It is. It is.
Like I made my mom's Irish soda bread and I like to put that on the top because it's so crunchy and
Well, that's good. That makes it's appealing. It looks nice, and that gives it, you know, little extra something. That's fine. But to put it in your coffee and stuff and like trying to, especially people who put it in their iced coffee, you're really not doing anything. It's your body's just having a harder time. You're putting your body in stress trying to you know,
if you put it in
digest
coffee,
it.
does it dissolve in the coffee so you can digest?
Some of it will, some of it won't.
Interesting. It's so hard, man. It's so hard.
Yeah, everything that I mean, every little thing, it is your body's very sensitive. It's a very sensitive thing.
Yeah.
And what you're putting in definitely shows on the outside. You feel it, but it will definitely show on the outside.
And it's funny too, because like I remember when I had the heart stuff, it was like, oh, you have to have almond or oat milk. I tried almond. I couldn't even swallow it. It's just disgusting. Almond milk to me is ugh. So the oat milk was pretty good, but then again, you find out later it wasn't any better. And you were like, oh, all right, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Win.
Is it?
Can't win. Yeah. And I saw a guy, there's this one guy, and again, you see these things on Instagram, and he was talking about how nuts are bad for you. And I'm like, I thought everyone and their brothers said nuts were good for you.
They are, and each nut has its own, like, you know, benefit.
Yeah.
I can't go crazy with nuts because I'm allergic to a few of them. I'm actually allergic to almonds. That didn't come up till 2017.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a lot of people used almond flour in some of their gluten-free things. So I've got caught a couple of times where it's like, oh, I made this for you. It's gluten-free. And I'm like, oh, thank you. And then they didn't tell me it was almond flour. So I'm like, oh, no. The next day.
Just give you like uncomfortable stomach issues, or is it like?
No, I break out into a rash the next day.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be covered in like this awful rash.
Well, that's the thing I wondered too, because a friend of mine, her and her sisters, they each had an allergy. This was like the first time I ever heard of these types of allergies. One was dairy. I forget what hers was, but like when they were allergic, their tongue would swell up and they'd fall on the ground. Like
Yeah.
her sister at her wedding, they swore up and down that nothing was cooked in butter. And this is before I think they introduced her at the reception, and she ate an appetizer in butter, and she's on the ground choking like her.
Yeah. So it's anaphylaxis. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's what anaphylaxis.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Because you know that's the other thing is you hear all these people saying, "Oh, I'm allergic," and I'm like, "All right, well, are you allergic like you got a rash, or are you allergic like you're gonna die?" Because that's another part of it too, where everyone talks about allergies, but there's different. Like I take sulfa; it almost killed me once. And they found out the hard way because they gave me a concentrated shot of something with sulfa in it.
Yeah,
and I almost died. So there's like different varying degrees of
there are.
what
Yeah.
allergies are, So for me, and I guess I'm going to try to milk some free dieting advice here. What what can I eat at my house? Like, yes, I guess I could just cook chicken, but that part of me just seems like it's just chicken. Like it's just like you just eat chicken. Like, I don't know. Like what can you eat every day that at your house that's because I do cook a lot, but I don't cook particularly, like I don't try to eat healthy. I just eat whatever, I cook whatever we have. Like, what did I make yesterday? Oh, beer can chicken, which I didn't think was
Okay.
terrible. But that's not bad, right?
No.
It's not
Did
free.
you use beer?
Yeah. Yeah. How else would I do beer can chicken? Do you know how it
I've
works?
actually, you know what? Believe it or not, I've done it with soda, which is terrible. But
Is it? Because they actually
the
I saw
the
that,
sugar,
yeah.
the corn syrup and stuff
Oh,
actually makes you. So, I'm over here telling you not to drink soda. It's terrible for you. But I've actually done it because
that's
it actually like goes through the chicken and makes it like really crispy. But
I actually saw, which was
I'm
cool.
not perfect, so
No,
I'm just
well,
saying.
I actually saw this thing which was cool because we buy pineapples a lot, my son and I, and we'll get like 4 pineapples and we'll just cut it up and eat it or whatever.
Yeah.
I saw this thing where they core the pineapple but wider, and then they put that in the chicken.
Yep.
And I said,
Yep.
"Wow, that's probably anything pineapples so good."
Do turkey burgers with the kids.
Oh yeah, but like,
Yeah.
where would you get? Do you have to go to a butcher then if you're like,
No, you can go right to your local grocery store and get ground turkey.
okay.
They'll have a organic ground turkey.
I try not to eat the burgers too much just because then you got the bun issue and that's annoying and
But you don't have to, I never eat bread.
yeah, I try not to.
So everything is either on a bed of lettuce or whatever. So it basically looks like a burger sitting on a salad. That's how I eat everything.
Yeah. It's just
Or
the other frustrating thing is, when you have kids is you're always running around. What bothers me the most is like, and there's a place that just opened up and they do just have like salad with meat. They have like halal cooking, so they do just have chicken and meat. But it is frustrating that you can't just go out and get like meat and something. Like everything has to be a burger with fry. Like I wish it was
Mhm.
easier to just while you're on the go eat something good. Because that's the hardest part. It's not the DoorDash part that I'm sitting here and I'm door dashing. It's I'm running around and we're in Rhode Island at a tournament and then we're on our way back and then like how do you grab something because you don't have time to sit down? That's not, but I guess the only answer is prepping all the time, right?
Right.
Ugh,
Right.
sucks. I just don't like to prepare.
It's hard being a single parent and doing that all the time and like having to prepare the meals. It's much easier if you got two. If
Yeah,
you get the two parents and then, but
that's
your kids are old enough, Matt, that they can start pitching in. They can start, you
yeah,
know,
they will.
they
Usually with them, the 3 older ones are always at work. So
right.
usually like they ask if they have food left over when they get out of work, that kind of thing.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
And they don't want to spend money at work.
Right.
So,
Exactly. What do
but
you got? Yeah, what's in the fridge?
yeah.
Right.
And so I mean I try to do pretty good, but again, it's hard, especially cost wise. I mean,
Yeah.
so
And
damn.
they must eat. You
Oh
got
yeah.
some big kids, so they must eat a
Yeah.
lot.
And every Sunday, which I like, but they have 3 or 4 of their friends that come every Sunday. And especially football starting, that's a whole other thing. That's going to be,
Right.
but I will say I do cook. I'll usually like I did a pulled pork this week, which I think that's fine, right?
Yep.
I do try to use apple juice instead of soda when I pour it in there. So I mean I do cook okay, I guess. But I'm not really that focused on it just because it's so expensive. But I do like, and all of them, even the older ones, have gotten health conscious to the point where
Good.
I don't know what to buy at this point because then everyone's so dang picky. Whatever you buy them is like, oh, I don't eat that now. And I'm like,
Just put I have on my fridge like a dry erase board.
yeah.
And when you need something or if somebody wants something, just write on the board.
Yeah.
Right? Just keep writing it on the board.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or if you have Alexa in your house, set up a what is it?
Alexa is the gluten food of the tech world. Like I know that everybody's listening to us anyway, but I'm not adding to it. You know what I mean? Like that person is my version of, gluten-based foods or whatever. I can't do it.
But that's something that people can do is the Alexa grocery list.
Yeah.
And add this to my grocery list,
Yeah.
or kids can start adding to the grocery list.
Yeah.
But I find that effective is to have the dry erase board, write it down. Everybody can just jot down what they need, what they want, or have a nice little list on the fridge.
I mean, my daughter's good like that. The boys are tough. They're just, they don't think about it till it's in the moment. And
right. They're the ones that leave the empty boxes in the cabinets.
Yes. And everything. Yeah, everything. Oh, don't even get me started. Yeah. How many things where you go with their friends and they come, how many cereal boxes they didn't close the cereal and then it's all ruined. And I'm like, and I even bought like 100 little clips to make sure we have fresh food and they don't use it. I'm like, God,
yep.
But the air fryer, I wonder how that's one of the best. Like
it really is.
Ever.
I've actually done with me and my son came up with this recipe. Probably not, but we had gotten a friend of ours had gotten us fish, and probably copious amounts of fish that we really didn't need. And we cut it into little chunks and we battered it in chips that we had. I had like the Quest, their protein chips.
Okay.
So they taste like a Dorito, but they're just a protein chip. So I had a couple of bags of those. We crushed it up and made like a breadcrumb.
Oh, nice.
Out of them. And we coated it up and we made little chunks and we made fish bites.
Oh,
and put them in the air fryer.
Fish nuggets?
Like little fish nuggets and put them in the air fryer. And we made like fish bowls. So we had rice, we had the fish nuggets. I made an aioli out of like hot sauce and mayo.
Oh, nice.
And put it over it. So it actually came out really good. We got all our protein that we needed. We had our rice. And, we just got a little creative of what we had. What are you going to do with fish? It was just a plain white codfish.
Yeah.
And it held up really good in the air fryer. And that actually fed us. We had enough for like 3 meals.
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, that's an idea. The boys might like that, little taco fish bites.
I hate seafood, so
okay. Never mind.
But I'm the only one. I mean, I guess they could do it. I'm a texture guy, and seafood to me, the way it breaks apart, and it's not my thing. I can't. My mom, everyone my whole life, they're like, "Oh, you just haven't had the right fish," and then they give me another fish, and I'm like, "Oh," or my mom.
Try it with chicken.
Huh?
Try it with chicken.
Well, shouldn't I just eat chicken?
Well, you don't want to eat fish, so you could try it with chicken.
Oh, I thought you meant try the fish with chicken.
No, try the recipe with chicken.
No, I'm like, why would I try it with the fish with chicken?
No, try the recipe with chicken.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's a great idea. I did something where I made I forget what it was, but I made I've done it before with Ritz crackers, which I know Ritz is bad, but there is something cool about making breading where you could just put it in the bag and crunch it up. It tastes so good. And I've actually seen, and you probably don't like, but pork rinds where people do that because there's no carbs in it.
Yep.
I know ever since my heart thing, if the kids see me eating pork rinds, they want to like just tackle me. But it's the only chip you can eat, basically. Like we do road trips all the time for lacrosse and stuff, and like you go in and what do you eat when you walk into like, a Cumberland Farms or whatever the hell? Like, what can you eat? There's very little. Like, are those meat stick things all bad? I'm assuming, yeah, all of them, yeah. So I had a question
I
because
mean, there's companies that will make you make natural ones.
yeah.
Yeah. You just got to find, organic ones
Yeah.
that
So
make natural.
yeah, that's tough, man. I wish it was just
But
easier.
chances are, if it's in a convenience store, yeah,
Yeah,
no.
it's bad. Yeah, that's a good point too. Um, yeah, man, it's so hard. So you're working on, you were talking about the menopause stuff. Do you want to get to that a little bit and just talk about what you're working on there and some of your studies and things like that?
So I just started venturing into it. I shouldn't say started. Last summer I had an instance that basically I'm in perimenopause, lovely. Not a topic everybody wants to talk about, but
Does that
should be
mean,
talked about.
does that mean like pre?
So perimenopause is basically your transition into menopause.
Okay.
So menopause literally only lasts one day.
Really?
Yes, many people don't even realize that. Menopause is one single day.
Wow.
And I had a situation last summer, and nurse practitioner had scheduled me for a surgery, and this whole thing I had to wait a good 2 months for the surgery. Spent the whole summer stressing out, like, I can't believe this is happening to me, like, what's going on? And the 3 days before the surgery, my gynecologist says, oh, I'm going to do a test, and I'm going to do it right here in the office, canceling your surgery. I'm like, okay. She's like, most likely you're in perimenopause, blah, blah, blah. You're at the age. Yeah. I'm like, great. So I have literally spent the last year reading every book on it, um, educating myself to the max about it, because I don't want anybody. I mean, I was so upset for those months. And then after, because nobody should really have to sit there and worry about a surgery and worry about what they're going to go through after the fact. And, just because of misinformation or, a simple fact that this is a natural change of life that you're going through, shouldn't be a thing. So I'm like, okay, nobody in my family is going to go through this. Nobody's going to deal with this. I want to help people. So a couple of months ago, I found this course that basically is going to make me a certified menopause specialist. And any woman that is going through menopause, perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause will be able to come to me for any kind of information, any kind of help. I will be able to help them reach out with doctors in my area, in my community, and basically just be an advocate for all women.
Oh wow. Now, you how can someone get it in touch with you? Because I'm enjoying this conversation. I've learned a lot, but what's the best way? Is it through Instagram or is it through what's the best way if someone is listening now and they want to get in touch with you or have questions or maybe set up some sort of thing with you?
So right now it's through my Instagram page, Michelle Francoeur Fitness. You will see my little Queen Bee logo that you have created for me.
Yeah.
And that's all my information. If you go to contact, it will be in there.
Oh, we lost him. All right, so we're back. I thought we were going to have a week where I didn't have technical stuff, but it's such the world of podcasting, no big deal.
Sorry.
Getting back to, yeah. Well, I feel like this is, I think my 11th show. I thought I'd be done by now with these, but I guess it's just par for the course. Um, getting back to it, your contact, get in touch with you at your Instagram. That's the best.
Yes. Yes.
And what are you doing now? I see you're still training folks, right?
Yep. Yep. Still training.
Oh, and we never mentioned your Falls River, Massachusetts, which is
Correct.
always feels to me like Rhode Island because I basically
I
have to
know.
go through Rhode Island, but it's not.
Literally on the line. Like
Yeah,
takes
it's
10
like,
minutes to get over.
yeah, but it's, yeah, because it's funny. You see people that, oh, they're in Falls River. It's not that far. And I'm like, it is far. You have to like go in and around. But yeah, you've been there a long time. I know you have a lot of connections in the training and health community there. So yeah, I had a great time with you on the call, and I hope you enjoyed it. Is there anything else that you feel like we could go over as far as health stuff that maybe we didn't cover, or?
I'm sure. I mean, there is a wide, I mean, we could go on for hours and hours and hours. Um, I mean, a few topics that, you know, maybe in the future, if you ever have anybody that asks, the GLP-1 shot,
What's that?
which is the Ozempic or
Oh,
the,
tell me
yeah, you
about it.
know,
No, tell me about
I
it.
mean, I could go on for another hour or so talking about that.
I would love to get
Um,
more information, even if it's just like a snippet, because I mean, it's something I've considered because it's hard to lose weight and I'm stuck at the same weight for how long, and I do all this work, but I haven't done it.
have
I've
you been
tried other
offered? Has someone offered it to you?
well, just social media is, it's always telling you to take it, but no, it's just, but then you see,
I'm just curious because doctors around here literally say, you're a bit overweight. Would you like it?
wow.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
haven't had that. What I will say though is, my Instagram or Facebook feed of friends that, all of them, there's so many people, and it is hard, to look at all these people that have lost all this weight, and you wonder like, oh gosh, maybe, but then you hear horrible things about it, so
Mhm.
those things. Um, it's hard to turn it down when you see all these folks that are looking, like $1 million. You wonder what the downsides are, and you don't really hear about the downsides really.
Yeah. I mean, there are so many different ways to go about it. I have a lot of mixed emotions about it because it's been around for a really long time.
Really?
The Ozempics and all the name brand ones. It's been around for quite some time. Um, Again, overseas companies made that, and overseas companies don't even give it to their patients
Uh,
for diet. It's meant for diabetes,
yeah.
and the people in the past who have taken it for diabetes, they actually don't lose the weight at such a rapid um, success, I guess you could say, as those who don't need it and those who are taking it for weight loss.
Yeah.
And which I think is fantastic because it's actually doing what it's supposed to do, and
Yeah.
it's helping people with their diabetes the way it's intended to do.
One of my really good friends, I mean, she's as thin as a rail, but she takes it because she's an awful diabetic. Like she was in a coma from her diabetes once.
So she most like how long has she been taking it?
I think for a while, because
Right.
for the diabetes, I never would have assumed that she had it because she's a tiny little thing, but I think she would have been tiny regardless, you know.
Right. And then most likely she's on the max level
Yeah,
that she could probably be on.
yeah.
Now, I mean, was she always a big, big girl?
Never, I don't think. I think her
Never.
whole
Okay.
life she's been tiny. She just has awful diabetes.
Yeah. So she's probably, and she's most likely on the max. But I have a few family members that are on it, and one has lost 125 pounds in a year
Wow.
and at the max level. But unfortunately, there's no muscle mass left. So what these are doing
Oh,
in people who are on these, and what they're not telling them, is it is eating away at your muscle mass. Everybody has that distinct, you can tell someone's on it, they have that distinct jawline. And then all of their skin, everything just keeps falling.
yeah,
You just see the massive amounts of fat that falls.
yeah.
So what's happening is it's actually eating at their muscle first,
Wow.
because the body is being deprived of food. They can't eat. They can't eat the amount of food that they wanted to eat before. So what's happening is the body's eating the muscle. It's holding the fat for later,
Yeah.
when it's going to decide that later, when there's no more muscle, okay, I'll go eat the fat. So what I've suggested for anybody who has decided, and I've talked to a few people who have talked to me about training with me, but have decided possibly to do the shot because they're conflicted. And I say, okay, well, if you are going to do that, immediately start weight training. Start doing the two together, because you need to continue to build up that muscle so that it starts eating the fat.
Oh, okay.
Because you want to keep building that muscle. And as you're eating, because your ability to eat, because it's going to make you stop eating, you're going to get, as soon as you start eating, it makes you feel sick, because your stomach is a muscle and it starts feeling sick. And that's one of the side effects. So start weight training, eat your protein, feed that muscle, do these things so it starts attacking the fat before it starts feeding on your muscles. Because all these people instantly just go for that. Again, we care about our appearance. We do not care about what we're feeding ourselves and putting in our bodies. We just care about what we look like. We care about being skinny. We care about our lashes. We care about how tan we look, our hair. We're not care about what we're doing to our insides. And these shots are really destroying everybody's insides. They're making everybody look super skinny really, really fast, and they have no muscle. So I tell people, please, if you're going to do it, weight train, eat protein, 30 grams of protein each meal, as much as possible. Stay hydrated, feed your muscle. And I just hope for the best.
30 grams of protein. What is that roughly? Like, is that
About three plus eggs, chicken breast.
just one chicken breast?
Well, a little bit more than one chicken breast.
Okay. Interesting.
You know, a protein shake.
So I have a question about shakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen, is that a good thing if you do your just instead of like, I've seen people do that. Is that a good thing, or?
Protein shake should be considered a snack, not necessarily a meal.
Okay.
That should be an in-between snack, because if you're doing if say on average a couple of small meals a day,
Yeah.
that can be considered a meal if you're doing several small meals a day.
Okay.
If you're one that does 3 large meals a day, that should be like one of your snack. You know what I mean? Like there's different ways of looking at it, but that should be like a snack.
Okay. And
But some people can make it into a full meal depending on what they're putting in it.
okay.
You're just doing like a simple, like quick shake, and shakes too matter. Shakes matter. If you're buying one of those store-bought shakes, like the Premiers or the Encores or whatever, read the ingredients of those. My God, the crap that they're putting in that is awful.
Yeah.
Go to the protein aisles of the store and grab a tub of protein or a bag of protein. Pretty cheap. I mean, 20 something bucks, unless you're buying like a higher grade one, then it's like 40. They make organic ones, they make all different kinds. It's a box of protein that you actually have to mix yourself, better ingredients in there. And you have to actually mix it yourself. You can mix it with water, you can mix it with milk, however you need to do it. Those are going to be better for you, better ingredients, all the stuff that needs to fuel your muscles and your body. I'd rather see that than buying one that's already pre-made. Because again, how are you lasting on the shelves for another 2 years?
Yeah.
Because you have to add a bunch of stuff in it. So
That's amazing. It's funny. This is 2 podcasts in a row where I book someone talking about something I don't really know. So it's scary going in, but I've learned so much from this. Wow. So do they have any studies showing like really detrimental effects of the shot right now, or is it still too early to kind of see? Because
I'm sure they do, but they're not really gonna.
They're not gonna release.
They're not gonna. It's another COVID thing. They're not gonna really show you all the negatives on that.
Yeah.
And I believe there's I can't remember the guy's name, but they're actually trying to tweak the shot to actually help diabetics. But I did read in the Boston Globe that as of January of 26, Blue Cross and Blue Shield is no longer going to cover all of the GLP-1 shots for weight loss.
Okay.
They are no longer going to cover the shots for medical, like for under your insurance. They are no longer covering it for weight loss. You will have to prove that you have diabetes only in order to take these. So I think it's only a matter of time before all the other insurance companies are going to follow suit. Because right now everybody covers it for weight loss under your insurance. Yep.
Well, because
there are people that like if you're over a certain amount of weight, if you're over a certain amount of weight, they will cover it. And I think you just have to be considered obese.
I will say I did talk about it with my doctor, and she wasn't against it. She didn't push it, but my insurance wouldn't cover it. They would only cover it for diabetes.
But I'm not gonna say what insurance, but like I think because Mass Health in Massachusetts, they're giving out like candy. They're letting you. It's incredible.
Well, I did. I've heard that they try to pass laws where as young as 6 years old you could do it, because that's a whole thing. Not to get political, but I don't even think this is political. I think it's both sides. I know for a fact that rather than have the kids work out and train and eat better, they put them on this shot. Then they know that this kid who has to live on this shot the rest of his life, is worth $200,000 to them. And and that's the whole thing with the chronic disease thing, is that like people don't understand the whole thing of debt in this country. We're born into debt.
Mm-hmm.
A social security number, because now they can say that you are worth how many $220,000 because of the debt that you incur, and then everything you add to it is the chronic disease and this and that, and it's constantly just looking at all of us as just little financial assets. And
well, what's the number one thing, and I'm sure you've heard it because it's out there. The number one thing bought with food stamps.
What?
Coca-Cola.
Yes, 20% of Coca-Cola's profits come from food stamps. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. So then
Yeah,
the 6-year-old is drinking Coca-Cola.
yeah.
So what are we gonna do? We're gonna give him the shot. Like, come on.
Well, that's another thing. I mean, you want to talk about like, racism. Is there anything more racism than putting this group of people that don't have the amount of money they need and then addicting them to sugar and food and then chronic shots and all these things because it's just perpetuating all this. Like
Yeah.
that is the ultimate racism, is you're using them as sheep
Yeah.
just for your money laundering so you could, cost somebody, so you can get them on all these government cost things, and it just never ends. They don't care about that. They don't care that those poor people are ingesting the worst foods, because that's the other part. If you really like, look at all the money we spend on all this stuff. If you just subsidize good organic food, we'd all be healthier. Everything would be better, but they're not going to do that.
Nope.
Yeah. I mean, that I've thought that too, because I love blueberries. And I'm like, you want to take my taxes? Subsidize blueberries. So they're like $1 to like a box of blueberries.
Yep.
I'm on board. I'm not a big like government subsidy person, but you want to put blueberries on some sort of plan that we can all buy them for nothing. That would be great. And they should be cheap. It should be like $2 for the big one, not even $2, right? $2 would be a lot. It should be like $1 or something. You know what I mean? I'd eat blueberries all day long. They're delicious. They make
Yeah.
everything better. Yeah.
Strawberries and blueberries. Those are the only two, honestly, the only two berries that I eat. Strawberries and blueberries.
The problem I have with the strawberry is like the timing of when you eat it has to be good. And I feel like I very rarely get a strawberry and eat it when it's at its right
Are
date.
you buying strawberries that are on sale 2 for $5?
Yes, always. That's the only way I'm gonna afford
No.
it.
So here's the trick. Here's the trick. You're buying the strawberries on sale 2 for $5 because those are the ones that are getting ready to expire and go bad fast.
Yeah.
Go to the ones that are like $5 for the big 2-pound container.
Yeah.
They'll last you like 2 weeks.
Well, the
You're
last
getting the same amount of strawberries for $5.
but even at that point, it's not even the last thing. I want them to be bright red. I want them to just be perfect. And strawberries are very hard to get them at that perfect time. You know what I mean?
But those will last you.
Yeah, I know.
To the point of when they're going to be the bright reds, when you're going to eat all of them.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. There was a nectarine. I was in the Big Y, and there was a nectarine, and they had a sale, and it was huge. And I bought one, and it was like the greatest fruit I ever had in my life. And I went back like 3 or 4 more times, and it never was the same. It just had to be like the perfect week of the season, and it was just never the same after that. It was never as good. And that's the hard part about fruit, is like the timing, when you're supposed to get it, all that, which I'm sure you know all that. You probably
Farmers markets right now with the nectarines are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't go to. I mean, when you say farmers market, you just mean like
you don't have a lot out there? You must in Connecticut.
What do you mean, like a lot?
Like farmers markets, like farms, like.
I guess so. Yeah, if I look for them, like there used to be more. There was one in town that's never really operating anymore. They're probably out there. I just don't see them in front of me. Actually, there were 2 in town that I used to drive by and stop at, but you don't see them. They're not open anymore for whatever reason. I think something happened to the farmer in one of them, and I don't know. But I could make a better effort at that. I know that. Yeah.
You're helping out your local community.
Yeah, that's true. I'm such a like. That's where I'm bad. I don't DoorDash, but I definitely like Peapod because it's just getting the groceries sent here. I don't know if you have that. It's Stop and Shop, but you
Yeah.
just get them sent here. And whenever you do that, the fruit's terrible. They give you the worst fruit, first produce. It's awful. So
They must. I would imagine, yeah, they don't pick
Yeah.
the best. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
They
at
give
the
you,
end
they give
like,
you the crap, right?
yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, nobody's gonna buy this if they see it.
This fool's getting this stuff. Gotcha.
Exactly,
Makes
exactly.
sense.
But, well, I had a great time. Did you enjoy this? This was fun.
Yeah, no, thank you. This was great.
I'm glad we had it at the end. Those topics were great. And so, Michelle, as always, you know so much about health and so much about all these things. If anyone wants to get in touch with you, go to your Instagram. That's your best way, right?
Yep.
Instagram at Michelle Francoeur. You'll see the spelling, which can be tricky, I think.
A little bit.
Yeah, when I did your logo, I always misspelled it. So, yeah, I had a great time. And thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
Well, have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.